how we will become virtuous. And Baba says there is one habit which, if we change, then we can become virtuous. And so Baba says, which habit should you renounce so that all the virtues automatically develop? So then Baba says that you have to give up the habit of body consciousness. Now I was just thinking that do we want to be virtuous? And you see, in this world, virtues are not celebrated. So why do we want to be virtuous? We want to be virtuous because we want to go to the new world, the world where it's a virtuous world. So Satyug, the golden age, is a place where there is no scope for anything other than virtues. Yes, so Baba says this is why we need to be virtuous. So first thing is, we have to have our aim clear. Baba has told us that as is the aim, so are the qualifications. If our aim is not clear, then how will we have the qualifications? So we must understand that, when we come to take the course and we are in Gyan, then Baba has told us, Baba has given us the aim and objective that we are preparing ourselves for the new world. And if that aim and objective is not there, then most of what Baba will say will not make sense to us. Or even if it makes sense, we will not be able to put it into practice. So it's very important that we understand that whatever we are doing here is to prepare ourselves for the new world. And if we don't keep that aim and objective, then what happens is we will lose sight. So we will try to do many things for many reasons, but because the reasons are not correct, then we will not be able to consistently make effort for that. Yes, so let's take the virtue of, being sweet, right? So you want to be sweet, but why? Yes, so in normal circumstances, you will be able to be sweet. So you will choose to be sweet, you will be able to be sweet. But then if somebody says something very bitter, or somebody says something hurtful, or somebody says something which is out of line, then you will want to give up your sweetness and react. Yes, because that will look like the most normal thing to do in a circumstance. Or maybe you will want to just make it clear to that person that you cannot behave with me like this, and you will not choose to be sweet despite their behavior. Yes, you will give up on your virtue very easily. And this is why everybody wants to be virtuous, but without the right aim, what happens is that journey of virtues is very short-lived. So I have seen people trying to be virtuous for 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, and then giving up on it. So, but what we have to understand is, we can only be virtuous if our aim is to go to that world of virtues. If our aim is not to go to that world of virtues and our aim is something here, yes, something of this world, then we will give up on our virtues as soon as that aim is not met. Yes, so have you seen businessmen being very sweet? Yes, they are very sweet, very polite. So if you go to a shop, then the shopkeeper will be very sweet. But until when? If you don't buy their stuff, they will drive you out and shout at you. So that will happen because that's not something they think is natural. They think that, I'm being sweet for a purpose. And so you see that in this, so I was just thinking about how, from a perspective of understanding the journey of the soul, when we see that, so in Satyuga and Treta Yuga, for 2 ages, golden and silver ages, we are absolutely virtuous. Naturally, we are full of virtues. And then we come to the Copper Age. And even then we have virtues, but vices also come in. So there is virtues and vices, both. And by the time we come to Kali Yuga, there is only vices. Yes, by the time, and especially at this time, if you want to describe the world, there is only vice. Even behind what looks like a virtue, there is vice. Yes, so somebody is being humble, somebody is being polite, somebody is being patient. So there is a vice behind that. So maybe lust or anger or ego or attachment or greed is driving them. So that's what, so there is, so I remember there was this one boy, and he used to wait for his girlfriend's call for 3 hours, 4 hours, and he would just be sitting beside the phone and waiting for the call. But why? What is driving that behavior? So much of patience in a youth, but that's not patience, that's lust and attachment driving it. Yes, so behind every virtue also there is a vice. What looks like a virtue, apparent virtue, there is a vice in this Kali Yuga. And then it's very strange that we have forgotten our original nature, we have forgotten our dharam. So whenever we do something which is very natural for a soul, we have a lot of ego about it. Yes, people have a lot of ego about being honest, and people have a lot of ego about being punctual and being polite and being tolerant and being sweet when somebody is being bitter. So whenever we do something which is according to our original nature also, we take a lot of pride in it. We feed our ego because of it. Have you seen, or maybe in your own life also, if you check, you must have been very proud of being honest. Yes, and people say, I've been very honest. Then what would you do? Would you like to be dishonest? Or why are you so proud of being honest? Honesty is your natural state, isn't it? Then why so much of ego about being honest? And these days, I see, very basic things like, I take care of the house. You live in that house. So if you take care of the house, what's the big deal? So then they would say that the 3 other people living in the house are not taking care of it. So they are at the extreme of viciousness, but you are also being very vicious if you're taking care of the house and you are feeding your ego because of it. So it's not natural. You're not doing it naturally. So by the time we souls come to Kali Yuga, we are in a state where we do everything that is vicious normally and anything that is virtuous with ego. Yes, so and there is a very important thing that we need to always remember: pride hath a fall. So, whenever you have ego, you cannot do it sustainably. So, you will do it for some days and then that same ego will tell you that don't do it. So, because the other people are not doing it, don't do it. So, most people are not able to be virtuous for very long. And this is also, and then there is another thing which is what Maya does is, Baba tells us that bhakti and Ravan Rajya. So, on the one hand, you keep doing bhakti, and on the other hand, you keep indulging in vices. And that has become a method to feed your ego that I'm a good person. So, people who indulge in a lot of vices do equal bhakti so that they feel good about themselves. That also is another aspect of Kali Yuga. So, I have seen there was this one brother and he had a lot of money earned from corruption. And then what he would do is he would arrange big bhandaras and big, organize big events where there would be worship of the deity and then there would be food served and then everybody would enjoy in that and there would be a Bhagavad Katha and this and that. So you keep doing all of this also because you want to balance out, you want to feed your ego that I'm a good person. So when you are too much into vices, then what you do is you balance out with bhakti. So this is also another mechanism which Maya has taught us, and this keeps happening until Kali Yuga. And then what happens is until we come to Gyan, so we have lost interest in bhakti. So when BK souls, they come into Gyan, they've lost interest in bhakti, right? So what they do is now Gyan starts like bhakti. So then what happens is you listen to the Murli, do Amrit Vela and then do whatever you want through the day, and then you think I'm a good person because I listened to the Murli and I did my Amrit Vela. And there is no integrity between our thoughts, words and actions. So this also becomes similar to bhakti. Yes, because there is body consciousness and then we are not we are not doing anything to overcome that body consciousness. So we are being very body conscious and listening to the Murli and eating pure food and this and that. So some of the practices we will take up, and then we will say that on most days I eat pure food, then on Sundays I don't eat pure food, I indulge myself, or when we go out we don't eat and most of the days you're out. So these are the things that keep happening. So on one side you're feeding your ego that I'm a good child of Baba, and then you're blaming it on circumstances, and then you will stop criticizing one person. So one instance in a day, just you will tell yourself, no, I don't want to criticize, and then you will keep criticizing all day other people, and then you will say, I stopped myself from criticizing this one person, but these people are very wrong, how can I not criticize them? So this is how you keep balancing out by feeding your ego on one side and engaging in vicious behavior on the other side. And then one day you will get up at Amrit Vela and you will show that I love Baba, and the other days you would say that I'm feeling very sleepy, so I couldn't get up. Forgive me, Baba. But when I got up, I remembered you, and that was 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but you will count that. But whole day, whatever you're doing, you will not count. Now, we have to understand that bhakti is all about self deception. So we have deceived ourselves for so long, and let us take care to not continue deceiving ourselves when we are in Gyan. And I have seen these days, there are many souls who engage completely, they will watch everything on YouTube and everything on every other channel, and they will watch every stuff that is full of lust, ego, attachment, anger, everything. So, everything that is created these days for viewing is basically lust plus violence. So, souls will watch this content all day, and then they will listen to the Murli also on YouTube and listen to some Manthan also on YouTube, and then they'll think that, I'm a good person because I listen to this also, and then that is okay because how will I pass my time? And that is something that everybody is doing. But do you think that in this manner we can become virtuous? We cannot become virtuous like this. So Baba says that, you have to give up body consciousness. So if there is an attraction to the old world, if there is an attachment to the old world, what is body consciousness? You are very attached to your sensual pleasures. So the main thing is, in the body there are these 5 senses, and these 5 senses, they are driving you crazy. So these 5 senses and the sensual pleasure that one is seeking, and then there is body consciousness, which is related to feeding of ego and lust and greed and attachment. So then there is attraction to the old world and finding your self-worth in the old world and finding value in the old world, and all of that is there. And if that body consciousness is there, then this trying to be virtuous is just an eyewash. So it's self-deception. You're trying to deceive yourself. So we must understand that in body consciousness, we cannot become virtuous. If I have attachment to the body, if I am attracted to sensual pleasure, if I am attached to the old world and the relationships of the old world, the attainments and labels and positions and money and property of the old world, then I can never be virtuous. Yes, and this is why Baba is telling us that from the seed of soul consciousness, virtues, the tree of virtues will grow. If the seed of soul consciousness is not there, then the tree of virtues cannot grow. And I have seen that, sometimes when people in the world also, they watch the TV program, and they take away that, we have to be sweet and polite and tolerant with everyone. So they try to do that, but what is driving that tolerance and sweetness and politeness? It is attachment. So you are not tolerating that one whom you are not attached to. You are using that ability to tolerate where there is attachment. So what we do is we learn these things that we need to be virtuous and we need to be sweet and polite and tolerant and not react. But then, why are we doing that? We are doing that because there is an attachment with that person, or there is some risk involved in that, in an attainment if we don't do that. So I remember there was this one sister, and she told me that I learned over television that we need to be very tolerant, and I picked on it, and I tolerated everything my husband did. Even when he beat me up, I tolerated it. But it is only going worse and worse. It is not stopping. It's not like if I have tolerated, it has given me good results. So I told her, why did you choose to tolerate just your husband's behavior? Why didn't you choose to tolerate your mother-in-law's behavior or your sister-in-law's behavior? Yes, so because you are tolerating with the aim that your attachment, so your tendency for attachment is fulfilled. So you are attached to your husband, and you want him to, agree with you or be on the same page with you, and with that aim you are tolerating. But when the aim is not right, then you cannot have the qualification. So then, even if you keep tolerating, that aim cannot be fulfilled. You must understand that even if you give up your life for somebody, you cannot make them love you or respect you. Yes, if you are tolerating with the aim that this soul or this person will grow to love me or respect me, then that's not happening. Because in this world, even if you give up your life for somebody, you cannot ensure that they will respect you or they will love you back, because they can only do what they are capable of. If a soul is not capable of love, it doesn't matter how much you do for them, they cannot give it back to you. Yes, so you must understand that this is an old, depleted world, and it can only offer as much as it is capable of offering. So if you are being virtuous with the expectation that you will get back something from this old world, then that expectation is not going to be fulfilled, and soon you will be tired of being virtuous. You will say that, I've been tolerant and I've been sweet and I've been this and that for very long. Why very long? Because you have that aim in mind that this old world has to return that to you. But this old world doesn't have anything to offer. It doesn't have happiness or peace or love or anything to offer to you. So even if you lay your life for something, that cannot be guaranteed. So we must understand that what is my aim? Why am I being virtuous? Why am I choosing to uphold virtues in my life? One thing is because I am preparing for the new world, which is a world full of virtues. And second thing is, virtues is my original quality. I am a virtuous soul. So I'm not doing it for any expectations. I'm just going back to my original self. And in my original self, I will be in equilibrium within. Yes, so when I'm seated in my original self, that's a very comfortable place to be within. That's my aim. So I want to be myself, and I want to go to that world which is full of virtues. That's the aim for being virtuous. So if you are an early riser, you are not rising early because you want to take some sankalp these days. Many times we think that maybe if I wake up at Amrit Vela for 21 days and I have the aim that, I will get this job, I'll get this attainment. Then if I do 21 days of continuous Amrit Vela, then I'll get that attainment. Yes, so these are also some things that people are doing. But if you're getting up at Amrit Vela for the job, then you are losing out on what you can actually get from Amrit Vela. That is, power and love and lot of strength from Baba. But Baba tells us that isn't getting up at Amrit Vela your natural state? So what is normal and natural? Is getting up at 8 o'clock. You can get up at 8 o'clock without any incentive. But for getting up at Amrit Vela, you need an incentive. Why? Why do you need an incentive to get up at Amrit Vela? Even dogs have the sense to get up early. So dogs are getting up at 5 and, just going about the business. But humans need an incentive to get up early. Animals have common sense. Animals are getting up at their fixed time. And human beings need an incentive to get up early. Why? Isn't getting up early your natural state? Isn't eating pure food your natural state? Why do you want to devour everything on the planet? Yes, why do you want to be so violent that you want to end up eating everything on the planet? Does it not ache you and pain you to kill? Or, to encourage killing for your food? Is that not something that comes very basically to us? Yes, and why do we have to flaunt that I gave up impure food after I came in Gyan? So you made a mistake all these years and you corrected it. There is nothing to be egoistic about it. Yes. So Baba says that, and isn't purity natural for you? Yes, why do my senses have to feed on somebody or something, or why do I need so much of sensual pleasure? So is the whole world a pleasure platform for me? So is everything an object of pleasure for me? Why am I deriving pleasure from everything? Why can't I just be happy and in a state of fulfillment from within? And why do we have this sense that I'm giving up on something or giving up on the other? No, that was not meant for your, nothing is an object of pleasure. So other people's bodies are not your object of pleasure. Your own body is also not your object of pleasure. That's an abuse that we've been doing for so long. And purity is very natural. The soul being itself is very natural. Respecting my body, respecting everybody's body, respecting everybody, everybody's position. So being soul conscious is all about accepting everybody as they are, respecting everybody as they are. So what is the big deal in that? So that's a very natural state. But what happens is, because we live in this vicious world, we are not trying to be soul conscious. We are just, even if we are adopting some virtue, we have a lot of arrogance about it. That I'm waking up early, I'm eating pure food, I'm doing this. But that's very natural for you. And if you're doing it, then you will go to the world you deserve. Yes, you deserve a better world and you will be rewarded appropriately because you're taking up the practice to be virtuous. So Baba says that we need to understand that this soul consciousness is the seed of virtues. If I don't understand who I am, if I don't understand that my aim is to go to that world where there are no vices, and if we don't practice being virtuous because of these reasons, and there are other reasons driving my choice of virtues, then we will not be able to be virtuous for very long. Yes, and I have seen, and this thing that I'm telling you, uh, being vicious on the one hand and being virtuous on the other, and telling yourself, justifying that I am basically a very virtuous person, but I am vicious only because they forced me to be. So, I've seen people with lot of sanskar of criticism claiming that I'm not a person who criticizes, because I don't criticize 10 people, I only criticize 2. Or I only criticize this one person. But why do you criticize that one? You're feeding your stomach, that you're feeding your hunger for criticism, and you're criticizing that one person day in and day out, and then you're claiming that I am a person who doesn't criticize because 10 other people you're not doing that. So, what we are doing is we are allowing our vices to just go, berserk and just cause all the damage that they can. And on one hand, we are adopting one virtue in one place and feeding our ego that, okay, I'm doing very well. But if there is no integrity between our thought, word, and action, and if all our thoughts, words, and actions are not virtuous, then how can we have the sanskar of virtuousness? Do you know, when there is an addict who goes for de-addiction, then they have to totally stop the alcohol or the drug they are taking. Because if they don't totally stop it, and they even take one in a day, then that de-addiction will not happen. So basically, this addiction of vices is also very similar. So we are not de-addicting ourselves. Some or the other way we are engaging in vices, and then we are telling ourselves that we are doing better than yesterday. But that's not better. You are just, it's lopsided. Now you are in the Dwapar Yugi stage. Yes, of course it is better than the Kali Yugi stage, but in the Dwapar Yugi stage, you had vices and virtues both working together. That's where you have come. And since we are all progressing on the path, we must understand these games that Maya plays with us. And I understand that, it may not be possible to change all sanskars in one day. Yes, and sanskars change over time, it takes time. But I'm not sharing all this to make any, so I'm not sharing all this so that we feel guilty that we are not changing our sanskars or this or that. I just want that we become aware that we are deceiving ourselves. So we don't get very happy that we are being, so don't give yourself the certificate that I'm viceless. Because we are doing that. We must be aware that I'm a work in progress, and I have to take care of my thought, word, and actions. And okay, I had 40% success rate today, 30% success rate today. That's okay. But we must understand that there's a big gap, because most of the time we Brahmins are certifying ourselves as perfect. That we have won over vices because in one or two places you are doing that, and we are not able to see what we are doing in the other places. So this is something that we need to be very wary of. And then Baba says that the only method to be soul conscious is to be in Baba's remembrance. And who do you remember? The one you have relationship with. So constant remembrance is never possible without a sense of relationship. So when I feel this strong sense of relationship with Baba, Baba is my parent, teacher, Satguru. Baba is my everything, my beloved, my surgeon, my everything. So Baba says, when you have this strong sense of relationship with Baba, and then Baba is a point of light and an ocean of virtues, then you also start becoming like Baba. So when you remember Baba and when you start identifying with Baba, that I am like Baba, I am a soul, I am made in the image of Baba. So Baba says that we need to understand that we are children of God, and Baba, I am like Baba, I am in my original frame, I am designed like Baba. And when you start looking at yourself like that, then your original qualities emerge. And then you understand that Baba has come to give me the inheritance. And Baba, I am entitled to that inheritance. And as soon as I come back to my original qualities, Baba will give me the inheritance. So I have to have a lot of clarity that I am Baba's child, and this whole path is about going back to my original stage and claiming the inheritance from Baba. Otherwise, when we lose sight of this whole thing, then every other practice that we are taking up becomes more of a hypocrisy. Yes, so and we have to be very loveful and patient with ourselves also. So we have to understand that even if I've progressed 30%, that's good enough. But don't live in the self-deception that I'm somewhere, I'm at 90% or I have become 100%. No, you must be able to see that still I am attracted to sensual pleasures, even if it's for 5 minutes a day. Even if you are watching stuff just for 5 minutes a day, you're feeding that hunger for lust and violence. Do you know that? And you are not free from that hunger. You have not overcome that hunger. So I must understand that it's not like if 23 hours I am being virtuous and 1 hour I am engaging in vice, that doesn't count, because that 1 hour, do you understand that in 1 glass of pure water, 1 drop of poison you put, then that whole glass is contaminated. Yes, and then we say it's just 1 drop. Earlier I used to, the whole glass of poison I used to drink, but now it's just 1 drop. No, but that 1 drop is also damaging you. And we cannot be clean and pure until we give up that 1 drop. So Baba says, yes, we have to be loveful and patient with ourselves, but we also need to check ourselves. Loving ourselves is not about self-deception. It's about accepting and improving. Yes, love is not about living in an illusion that I am okay. So when you love somebody, you don't create an illusion for them that you're okay. Love is about accepting them, helping them accept themselves and helping them improve. Yes, similarly, love for the self is about accepting, about knowing where I am, understanding where I'm at, accepting myself that okay, this is my stage, having the courage to accept it, and then having the faith in myself that I can do better tomorrow. But not self-deception, because self-deception will not lead us to progress. It will stop the progress. Yes, so we need to appreciate ourselves, but also know our shortcomings. Yes, self appreciation is important, self deception is not important. Okay, Om Shanti.